Hi, friends. Pastor Zack here with another devotional connection for the Glendale community. And today's verse for connection is taken from Exodus chapter 10, verse 7. I was reading in my devotions this week. I'm going through the life of Moses and the journey of the Exodus of Israel from the Hebrew people from Egypt to the promised land where he wants them to go. And I've been going through the back and forth between Moses, Aaron, and Pharaoh, and God's call to Pharaoh to let his people go. You know, we don't really think about that, but God had a calling on Pharaoh's life too, and that calling was to let his people go. Sometimes God's calling on our lives doesn't always look like doing something for him, going out, and sometimes it means giving up something from him versus just taking something on. It also means giving it up. So God's call for Pharaoh was to give up the people of Israel so they could go worship him. And it's interesting that in Exodus chapter 10, verse 7, when they're finally getting down to the last couple of plagues, the locusts and the darkness and the death of the firstborn, when they're finally getting to that point, havoc has been reaped on Egypt. And yet Pharaoh stubbornly cannot let go. In Exodus 10, verse 7, it says, after Moses went from the presence of Pharaoh, that Pharaoh's own servants came to him, saying, how long shall this man be a snare to us? Let the men go, that they may serve the Lord their God. Do you not yet understand that Egypt is in ruin? It's like Pharaoh's own people are coming to him saying, look around you, Pharaoh. This place is in shambles. It is not worth it for you to continue on the course in which you are going. Who cares what this? Let him take his people. Let this man go. Because look at Egypt is almost no more. Why continue to trouble yourself with him? And this brings a couple things to mind that I think are really important. I think with Jesus, if we're in sin, if we're in rebellion, if we're struggling with something, I think it's better to let go as soon as possible so we can let God do his thing in our lives. The more we hold on to sin or something that's hurting us, that's completely destroying us, the larger the ramifications and the bigger the consequences in our lives and, according to the servants, in the lives of others. Pharaoh's decisions, selfish decisions, weren't just affecting him, it was affecting all of Egypt, the people he was supposed to be caring for. And I think, secondly, what this brings to mind is our responsibility to get serious about what God is calling us to do. I can only imagine for Pharaoh if him giving up the people of Israel would mean a devastating blow to Egypt's economy. But maybe for Pharaoh, this was an opportunity for him to lean in and trust this God whom he had never experienced before. This God who is clearly so much stronger and so much bigger than his gods. This presents a whole new opportunity for Pharaoh. So, what I love about God is in giving up something that's hurting us and hurting others, it also opens up an opportunity for us to be able to worship him, to help us, and to help others. So, friends, when God calls us to give up something that's detrimental to our lives or our spiritual well being, it's not because he's trying to take fun away from us or take opportunity or prosperity away from us. It's actually the reverse. He's trying to allow for prosperity, for blessing, and for benefit for all peoples, for ourselves and for others included, and to trust him and experience him in a new way. So I don't know. I'm not necessarily saying the call today is to give up something that might be hurting us. But if we are holding on to something that's hurting ourselves and our families, this is an opportunity to trust God and to trust that if we let go, he will have something better for us in mind. And secondly, for us to know that it's not just about giving up and getting rid of sin in our lives, but it's about trusting God with our lives. And we need to ask God, Lord, I'm done with sin management and behavior modification. What more do you have for my life today? What can I trust you with? I've given everything, and maybe what I've given up seems to hurt myself financially. It seems to hurt my future. It doesn't make sense what I'm doing in following you. Ask the Lord to show you the promised land, to show you what good and better things he has in store for you. Now, I'll end with this little side note. It's really interesting when you turn to the book of Isaiah, you read Isaiah's prophecy, and his hope and his dream was for Israel to be, or for Egypt to be one of his firstborns, and Assyria his secondborn, and then Israel his thirdborn. He wanted Egypt to experience this exodus for themselves as well, to become a nation that was under God. So I think there's opportunity for everybody today. If you're feeling excluded, know that God includes everyone in his call to follow him. The question is, do we want to give it up in order to seek him? And I'm here to tell you today, friends, it is worth it. If you're hesitant, it is worth it. If you're struggling, God will help you with it. And if it's impossible to do, don't tell me what my God can't do. He parted the Red Sea. He can make a way for it. Be blessed, friends.